Brian Lawrence has a reputation for creating stunning modern and classical interior designs. He also has his own furniture, wallpaper, fabric and china collection. Here he talks to Think Bigger about the impact digital printing has on his work. When designing interiors, where do your ideas and inspiration come from?
From fashion and fashion fabrics, architectural elements and the natural world, really. They're the sort of three main areas that I would concentrate on.
What are some of the typical creative and technical challenges you find in your work?
Well, finding suppliers and manufacturers to actually create what you need for projects, really keeping in mind that it's an ongoing situation in interiors with legislation and with new laws. So it's about educating yourself about what you need and how you can do it, and also who you can do it for you. They're sort of the elements that, that I find challenging.
And do suppliers help you with that? Do you look to suppliers to help you with that?
Yes, if you open your sort of portfolio of ideas to a lot of suppliers, you can learn more about what they can do. But I do find that it's a bit of a closed shop sometimes, and you have to really press them to see if they can actually do something that you don't necessarily think they can do.
What use do you make of digital printing in your work, and what kind of impact can it make in the interior design world?
Well, certainly wall features, wallpaper designs and fabric designs are where digital printing really comes into its own, particularly as you can actually create much bigger designs now than you could do in screen printing. So really, with that in mind, you can colour up any design of your own to whatever you want. I mean, for instance, I've been doing the refurbishment of a hotel where we've been able to create fabrics which were no longer available in their woven concept into printed fabrics to actually replace what was there originally, which one can only do digitally. It's more or less impossible to do it in any other way.
And in fabrics, what are the challenges of digital printing onto fabrics generally? Do you always get the colours you want?
Yes, well, you have to work with raw colours all the time. But yes, I mean, you have to do quite a lot of strike-offs to get what you want. But the fact is that when you actually see what the digital printer can actually create, particularly if you look at fashion fabrics, I mean, I'm absolutely spellbound when I see what the machine is creating for another customer. The fact I don't want that type of fabric, it doesn't matter, it shows me what it can do. And so therefore you can change colour, size, you can make a print as small for an accessory, a toilet bag, a coat hanger, right up to a huge piece of printed fabric to hang on a wall as a tapestry, curtaining, drapery, everything. So you can change the size as well as the colour quite easily. And that's what is so great about digital printing.
Is there a specific job you can talk us through that featured digital output?
Yes, I remember very well the Heritage Centre in the Lake District, where we had a fairly strict brief from the client, bringing in elements of the Lake District, the Heritage Centre and its history, but creating a toile look for both wallpaper, which was going to be on a feature wall, and also fabric for hangings and draperies in a retro look. So a very 1950s sort of look, because that's what the client wanted. And digital printing allowed me to actually create all of that, and the client was very happy with the end result.
And there was the digital wall coverings you did, that was your own design or digitally printed?
Yes, the same design, actually a slightly larger. The fabric was actually a smaller design, same design, so we did a smaller size design for the fabric and we did a bigger scale of the design for the wallpaper, which was then actually all pieced together on a very large feature wall as you come into the centre as the feature, and it tells you sort of the history of the centre in some way, and also about the Lake District in a very retro way.
And would that have been possible without digital printing?
More or less impossible, because to screen print or even rotary print, that type of idea would have been very, very difficult. No, digital printing made that all very possible and very easy to do.
Can you tell us a little bit about the Brian Lawrence collection and how digital printing helps you create that?
Yes, well, digital printing is very good for instance, on my China collection, which is basically my toile. Digital printing is the first element. We digitally print onto a transfer, onto sheets, but then the elements are torn off and they're actually applied to the bone china, and then it's fired. So the digital process starts the whole thing off. On my fabrics, of course, I'm digital printing and I can do any colour, so I can customise colours for particular projects. And so really digital printing and my toile very much are hand in hand together. And we're actively looking to create accessories with small designs which we can scale down with the digital process.
And for those of us that don't know, Brian, what is a toile?
Well, a toile really is a French story about a place, basically late 18th century, early 19th century. But toiles actually, although they're very popular in France, were also and are very popular here in the UK and have been for an awful long time. I've been very lucky in the fact that I have actually had my toiles profiled in the Toile de Jouy Museum near Versailles in Paris, which was a real accolade for me.
How do you know what different options are available to you in terms of different substrates, and how do you find out about new developments?
Well, obviously within the press and magazines you read about what other things are being done in projects, and I read those magazines every week to keep one updated on what's going on, but also through the makers and the printers actually informing me of what they can do, which can sometimes be quite difficult because in fact they need to open their books to show me what they're doing for other clients, because it's not a case of copying what you see, it's understanding what they can actually achieve.
When would you bring the printer into the creative discussion?
Really, once I got the idea agreed with the client, once I've got that, because the client's paying me to actually put all those ideas together. So once I know I'm on a fairly safe wicket on the idea, I'll then go to the specialist to find out how we go about that particular element that we need in the interior.
And at that stage, have they got something to bring to the creative discussion at all, or do you tend to sort of tell them what you want and expect them to deliver?
I then tend to tell them what I want, and then they tell me what they can do. It's them, because often you don't know exactly what they can do, so it's best to tell them what you think you want, and then sometimes you learn they can do something even better, and you can actually build on that.
What are the factors for success when working on a typical interior design project, and who else do you tend to collaborate with?
Well, you need a team behind you, from myself being on the front line creating the interior, through to the suppliers who are making all the items you need, through to the installers. So you start from builders, painters, decorators, through to curtain makers, carpet fitters, and they're all specialists, and you need all those people to create the interior.
Can you tell us about any future projects that you're involved with that might be of interest to our audience?
Yes, I'm quite excited by an exhibition which I'm going to be profiled in Novosibirsk in Siberia in February, where I'm working with a Russian interior designer and architect who is profiling myself and her with the British interior look. Because in Novosibirsk and in Siberia there's a great interest in British design and also suppliers of British products. And so we're going to do a case study on a commercial hotel interior and also on a residential interior, bringing in trends, British trends, and all the elements of British interior design. So that's really a very exciting new project for me.
And would you be showing them the capabilities of digital print?
Yes, within that we will also promote the technical side of what we're able to achieve. I have no idea what digital printing facilities they have in Russia, but we're fairly advanced here now in what we can do, and I think probably they will be surprised in what we can actually create through the digital world.
In general, do you see digital output being more widely used in the interior design world?
Yes, I do, because digital printing is being understood by a much wider range of manufacturers and suppliers. So, with laser you can use digital printing, which then laser cuts for furniture, for flooring, which is a whole different concept to digital printing on fabric and wallpaper and canvas. So yes, it's growing, and I don't think it'll ever stop, because it could be used on glass. It can be, you know, printing. Digital printing can then be actually moved over into other elements by starting the digital process and then moving it on into whatever product you want to create the design on.
Is there still some scepticism in some quarters about the word digital?
Yes, there's the old school who's a bit sniffy about digital printing compared to screen printing, but the fact is that it's very hard to tell, unless you're a specialist, the difference between good digital printing and screen printing. Also, the fact is that really it's digital printing can be used in such a wide variety of products, and really it's good for interior designers to actually appreciate that there's a lot more on offer. But we all need educating the whole time on what these suppliers can actually achieve in digital printing.